In this video, we'll be talking about how to give a good presentation that's not boring and that people actually listen to instead of just scrolling on their phone while you're talking in front of them. And how to bring your presentation to the next level. So let's get right into it. And first, I want to talk about the presentation itself. How should it look like? And I mean, of course, you probably already know this, You just want to leave in the essential stuff. And that's it. You don't want to have these huge paragraphs and these huge texts, because people are not there to read your text, to read your slides. They are there to listen to you. So in reality, these slides, that's not what the most important thing is. It's much more important how you talk and the way that you speak and what you say. That's much more important. But your slides should be, what's the essential? It really is just asking yourself, what's the essential here? And only putting that in. Like rewriting sentences, only having some titles, some key ideas, some drawings, some pictures, and that's it. Still, I remember in school that so many of my classmates, when he had to do some kind of presentation, like they just went out there and their presentation was like a huge block of text. They went out there and just read it. And like how stupid do you have to be? And of course, probably most of them did it because they just didn't care about their presentation and didn't care about their class. But still, can't you just put that little effort in that? It's just so stupid. But the point is, you don't want to have those kind of presentations that have these huge blocks of text in them. Keep it simple. Just go for simplicity and ask yourself, what's the essential here? And only put the essential stuff in your presentation. For example, let me just show you a presentation that I did recently for one of the classes in university. And as you can see, it's Hungarian, so if you don't understand Hungarian, you probably won't understand this. But that's not the point. The point is how the presentation looks. And you see, it's simple. Look at it. This is it. Some pictures and some text and some drawings that I've done, and that's it. And you could add some kind of design, some transitions and some animation, some pictures, some design or whatever you want, but this is just my style. I think those are not really distractions. They are cool. They can leave a good impression, and but it also depends who is your audience, you see. Who are you presenting to? But this is just my style, you see. Just some black text on a white background and that's it, with some pictures. Straight to the point, no messing around. And you see, it's simple, nothing extra. And you see, presentation actually went really well. Everyone, as far as I saw, almost everyone was paying attention. And then after it, there were a bunch of questions, and the teacher also said that it was great. I even got some extra points for it. And the next guy who came out to present, he also just said how good my presentation was and so on. So as you can see, the presentation is simple. So it's not the presentation that really matters, You can have the best presentation, all sorts of animations and transitions and pictures, all of that, and still it could be trash. Because what truly matters is how you deliver your message, how you speak, what you say, and all of that stuff. So as you saw there, my presentation was very simple. Anyone could do something like that. So what made my presentation good? As we said, it's the way that I spoke, it's the way that I delivered my message. You see, the most important things when you're out there presenting is the way that you speak, the tone in your speaking, the words that you're saying, your expressions, your emotions, your body language. These are the things that truly matter. So you see, have some kind of expression, move your body. Don't just stand there like this and just talk to the crowd like this. Move your hands, move around a bit. And don't, one of the most important things, don't stand with your back. That's just very weird. You can do it sometimes, when you're reading something, but even when you're reading something, don't just go like this. Go with the sideways, And also, just smile. This is also related to body language. Smile. One of the most important things. Keep a smile. Have this good energy, this confident energy in you. And just, of course, just be confident. Talk loudly. You see? If you just talk loudly, you beat most of the people. Because most of the people are just shy when they're out there. And you might be, but you see, you get used to this with practice. That's how you build confidence. With doing it over and over and over again. And also with rehearsal, which we'll talk about in a minute. So remember this, to express the words that you're saying with some kind of emotion. Have some kind of tone changes, you see. Don't just talk in a monotone way, because that's very boring. People don't really care about that. But talk in a way that, like expresses how you feel and have this good energy. Like that is the most important thing. So remember this, that one of the most important things is the emotions behind those words, the expressions behind those words, the confidence behind those words. Also be aware of your body language. And also another thing is taking deep breaths and just slowing down. I mean, you probably see the difference right now when I slow down. And when I take some deep breaths between the words that I'm saying. And also just taking deep breaths, just makes you more aware, makes you more present, makes you more confident. So remember to take deep breaths. It also relaxes you. Now, here's one of the most important things that you could do to improve the things that we just talked about. To improve the way that you speak, the emotions with which you speak, and the tone in your voice, your body language, everything. The single most important thing that you could do to improve those things is to do some rehearsal, to practice, and to practice a lot. Because, for example, let me just tell you this analogy. So, you see, when you're driving in the car and some song comes in that you really like, and you already know the lyrics to it, then you can focus on singing that song with the emotions, putting your heart into it. But if you don't know the words to that song, like, you're going to be almost lagging, you're just going to be thinking, what's the next word, you're just going to be in your head thinking all the time, what's next, and you won't be able to put your heart into it. You won't be able to really express your emotions and do it, use your body and all of that stuff. And it's the same with presentations. If you don't really know your presentation, if you don't know the words, then you'll be thinking about what's next, what's the next word. I can't remember, and you'll be looking at the presentation and then searching and looking at the notes and all of that stuff. But you don't need those. The point is to put in the practice, to do some rehearsals. I mean, for example, the presentation that I did, that I just showed you, I all had it in mind already. I knew what I was going to talk about. Because these are, I already talked about this on my YouTube videos and I know it from there, but I did the rehearsal. I'm just bit my tongue there. I did the practice. And I knew what I was going to be talking about. And that's why I was able to speak so freely, so openly, expressing myself, showing emotions, you see. Doing facial expressions, using body language. That's how I was supposed to do it. Because I already knew the script. And then I could put my heart into it. So this is one of the most important things that you could do, is to practice. Put in the practice. Say it over and over and over again until you got it. And now, of course, leave room for improvisation, or how you say that. You don't want to learn it for word, because then if you miss a word, if you forget one single word, and you're stuck and you don't know what's next. So the thing is that know the main things that you're going to be talking about, but leave some room for improvisation, for spontaneity, however you want to say it. Leave room for some of that also. I mean, that's how I did it. For example, I used the main ideas on the presentation. I just took a quick peek on the computer. Okay, what else do I have to talk about? And then talked about that. So you can also do that. The point is to already know the basic script that you're going to be talking about. So that you won't have to think there, and that you won't block in the middle of the presentation. So that your presentation can flow and there won't be any interruptions, you checking your notes or just there, just standing there and just thinking, and Yeah, you see, that you don't want any of that. You just want this fluid, nice presentation. And the way that you do that is by rehearsal, by practicing. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention to bring your presentation to the next level is authenticity, meaning being yourself. Just be yourself. Don't try to act like someone else. Don't try to be like that guy that you saw on YouTube. Because the point is that you want to express yourself. You want to talk in a way that you talk. You want your unique kind of style. For example, you don't have to like copy the way that I talk, the way that I made my presentation. You want to have your own. Because then people can relate. People can relate to you. And that's such an important thing. I mean, that's one of the most important things that humans want, is to be able to relate to the other. And the other thing is that if you do try to copy someone, that guy you saw in a movie, and you try to take his personality because he's so cool, and now you're obsessed with him, people will notice. Like, it's so noticeable when you're not being yourself. So just be yourself, be authentic. And another thing that ties in with this, being authentic, and also very important, is sharing personal stories and just telling stories in general. Such a powerful tool when doing presentations. I mean, why do you think that in almost every single video of mine, I try to tell a story related to the topic? Because people remember stories much better than they remember some ideas, some concepts. People remember stories and they can relate to it. It makes it personal, especially if it's your personal story. And to be honest, what separates a good presentation from a great presentation is probably a great story. And the way that that person tells that story. This is how powerful and important stories are. And it's way better if you can tell a personal story that actually happened to you. Because as I said, it makes it relatable, and people like to listen to stories. Ever since the start of humanity, we always like to listen to stories. So remember to add some kind of story to your presentation. That can be very powerful. And if you don't have some kind of personal story, then tell someone else's story. Tell some kind of famous person's story. That can also work. But tell a story. And then of course you can improve your storytelling skills, which I won't go into now. It's a long topic, how to tell stories. I'm not even that good at it. So you can do some research, or I'll make a video if you want to on that. You can leave a comment if you want a video on storytelling. And another thing that will help you to upgrade your presentation, especially if you're trying to explain something, explain some kind of complex idea or something like that, is to restate what you just said in a more simpler way. For example, if I'm talking about why you should really consider what you do first thing in the morning and how that relates to dopamine. You see, I'm talking about how when you wake up you have a full tank of dopamine, and every time you do something, dopamine gets released, and how dopamine reinforces our actions, and how when we do something really like dopaminergic activity, it squeezes out of dopamine, blah 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 blah. In other words, the point is, do something productive when you wake up. That's it. So you see, it's this explanation and then a short, more simpler restating of the thing that you just said. And what you could also do is do it like a quick rundown. Say the key ideas of what you're going to be talking about at the beginning. Do some repetitions and then restate what you said in the beginning, and then at the end, do a quick summary, the key lessons, and that's it. So overall, you told the audience 3 times the key lessons, and that helps them memorize the ideas. Now, another very important thing is another very important thing is to engage with your audience. Ask some questions, do some exercises. You see, tell everyone to close their eyes, something like that. You can be creative. But questions is one of the best ways to engage with the audience. Ask these open-ended questions, you see. And after you ask the questions, have some silence. That's also very important, to have some silence after you ask a question. For example, does anyone relate to this? I mean that's not an open-ended question. Like someone can actually, like the point of that is someone to actually raise his hand and to answer it. And you can do questions like that also, but you can do questions like, let's see, maybe you're talking about something, and questions like, but why do that? And then you have a little pause, and then you go on talking. You see, having some pauses between questions is essential. Like it really like emphasizes the question and makes the audience think a little bit. So that's a great thing that you could do. And also know your audience, because all of this, the way that your presentation looks, how you talk, how you deliver the message, depends on who you're talking to. My presentation would have looked probably very different, and I would have talked in a very different way if I had to present in front of, I don't know, like adults instead of a classroom full of students. So these are the key ideas that I wanted to share with you to improve your presentation skills. And now let's do a very quick recap. The point is not the presentation itself, but how you deliver your message, how you speak, your emotions, your expressions, your body language, how confident you are, how loud you're speaking, smiling, having good energy, doing rehearsals, practicing over and over and over again so that you won't have to think about what you're saying next, leaving room for improvisation, having authenticity. Being authentic, you see, not trying to act like someone else, telling stories, explaining things in a simple way and restating them, doing some repetition, you see, mentioning the key ideas at the beginning, at the middle, and the end, or you can do it however you want, you don't have to listen to me. And also engaging with the audience and knowing your audience. And now, of course, the best way to become better at presentations is to do presentations, it's to talk. It's to put in the work. So really, how you become better at doing presentations is by doing presentations. That is the best way to become better at that. So thank you for watching. If you're interested, I do free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll contact each other. We'll arrange a video call and you can ask me anything that you want. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm very happy to answer it. And thank you for watching this video. Thank you for your presence. All the love towards you. Have a great day and goodbye.